Hi, it's Dr. Jenny Trierweiler from Slender for Good, and I'm creating this video to try to explain in a fairly succinct way where Slender for Good comes from, what makes it so different, why it's important. It's important to me because I was struggling so much with healthy eating and weight issues in my mid-50s. I thought I had healthy eating and weight loss all figured out until menopause, and everything that used to work didn't work anymore. I was gaining more and more weight. I was starting to feel like I didn't want to go out and see people anymore. I felt like I was hiding myself all the time. And I was getting more and more concerned about health issues and living a healthy, long future. So the longer I went with these lousy results, the more I thought, maybe I don't actually know what healthy eating is. Maybe I don't actually know how weight loss works. I started realizing I'm not super clear exactly what works to transform my results. And I knew from my scientific background, predictable results come when you have a super clear approach with the right elements that reliably produce the results you want. I wanted healthy, sustainable weight loss. I wanted to know exactly how to eat to turn things around. And it was getting super clear. The weight loss approaches that we find in the marketplace do not produce those results. They do not get us naturally back to slender and then on track to just live slender and healthy and active and independent all the way to the end of our lives. That's not what's happening in our environment, right? In fact, we tend to get terrible results or temporary results at best. So I really appreciate that my unique training background made it possible for me to recognize I can go look into the research and find very clear guiding principles for how to eat to predictably and reliably get health and sustainable weight loss. And when I did that, it absolutely transformed my life. I was able to reset my weight and shed the excess 60 pounds I had gained during those years. I was able to keep it off for many, many years. And it all came about by learning to make my body happy with abundant nutrition. I have so much better energy and mental clarity. I sleep better. I'm not living with pain and inflammation anymore. And I walk like a young woman again. And I've also seen this method work now for hundreds of people. Every day I get to see women and some men close up discovering how what works is completely different, how easy it is to fall in love with eating in this truly healthy way, getting so much energy back, getting their slender body back, living the life they're meant to live. And these kinds of results are very rare in these times. And I want you to understand why. Because you might be feeling like I was, like, hey, I'm smart, I'm successful, I work at this, I care about this, I study this. I've put time and money and energy into figuring out healthy eating. But the more and more I try lately, the worse my results are. So you might be feeling frustrated and confused and maybe even ashamed and hiding like I was. Like, what is wrong with me? This is embarrassing. And maybe you feel like I am really tired of spending so much time and energy trying to figure this out for such terrible results. Like, I have better things to do with my life. So if your weight loss approach isn't working for you anymore, I want you to know it's not your fault. So most of us now are overweight or obese, more than 80% of us. And most of us can expect to develop one of the chronic diseases of aging, or more than one, the aging diseases that make it difficult to live well and active and independent until the end of our lives. This is less likely than ever. So let yourself off the hook about this. What actually works doesn't turn out to be hard. So we have to recognize, though, that the healthy eating approach we have put together with our best guess and the information that we have access to is not working. It's not going to work. It's the wrong approach, and we have to step off that whole path and onto a whole different healthy eating path. So I feel really passionate about helping people understand why things aren't working. I've created a 5-part program that teaches this. And if you'd like to get a copy of that, let me know, and I'd be happy to send you the links. But let me bottom line it for you in this video. Those approaches that we're learning in the marketplace are not sustainable. They're not sustainable. We don't get sustainable results. I used to wonder what that meant. I used to think, does that mean we just have to try harder? That's not what it means. So I want to make this a little bit clearer. Not only do most weight loss diets fail to show sustained weight loss years later, but losing weight through dieting is one of the best predictors of weight gain if you want to look 2 years down the road. And that is very frustrating, right? That is very irritating. And I wanted to understand why. And so I studied all the theories and all the research. There's hundreds and hundreds of studies about diet and health and weight loss. And I came to the conclusion, looking at hundreds of studies, that our weight loss approaches are trying to solve the wrong problem. They're based on a big misunderstanding of how our bodies work. So the problem they're trying to solve is we must be eating too much. This calories in, calories out idea. So those approaches focus on different ways of eating less to drop weight. And that's just the wrong approach. We're misdiagnosing the problem, and then we're trying to solve the wrong problem. We're taking an approach that sets us up in a battle with our own bodies. Our bodies are really well designed to defend us against starvation. They can make us extra hungry. They can make us extra anxious and sleepless so that we have more time to go searching for food. They can slow down our metabolism so we don't burn as many calories even when we're at rest. When our bodies perceive a reduction in calories coming in or an increase in calories going out, weight loss is only temporary, and then our body fights back. Most of us have had some experience with this, but still, when we go to the marketplace, they're still teaching us some way to eat less. So I want you to really understand an approach that focuses on eating less is going to make our body fight back. It's not going to be workable or effective or sustainable. It's not a matter of trying harder at those approaches. It's a matter of finding a whole different approach. It's 180 degrees different kind of healthy eating approach that makes our body happy to naturally reset our weight to slender. That's sustainable. So I want to explain how the Slender for Good method is different from everything that you've been trying and why it's hundreds of times more effective than other programs. And I want to show this through some examples of people who have been through the program in recent years. So Coleen is a great example. She is a very disciplined dieter, just a pro dieter. But by the time she was in her late 60s, her size had been going up and up, and dieting wasn't working for her anymore. So she felt really clear, I know what to do and I'm really good at it, but it's not working, and it hasn't been working for a long time. And she didn't want to just accept the weight gain, especially because it was also accompanied now by increasing health concerns, issues with her gastrointestinal system that were keeping her from enjoying her life, issues with pain and inflammation and getting up and down. She was getting tired of the stress of all this, and she was starting to get worried that she might be running out of time to turn it around, and she might be leaving her family earlier than she wanted to. So she humbled herself. She said, I think I'm good at this, but it's not working. I need to get guidance and coaching and support. I need to do something truly different and see if I can get a breakthrough. So she came into the Slender for Good program and devoted a year of her life, and the weight came off. The health issues turned around. She gained so much youthful energy back again. And she feels so much more attractive again. She loves the compliments she's getting from her husband. But best of all, she has completely transformed her approach to eating and drinking. So she's confident about living this way the rest of her life because she overhauled her whole approach to eating. She went from this lifetime of dieting and deprivation and stressing her body with all these ups and downs. And she implemented this healthy eating approach that made her body really happy. So all the systems in her body are working like they should work now to get a healthy, natural weight loss that's sustainable. Now, in the course of this year, not only did she learn this new eating approach, which doesn't take that long to learn, it takes us a couple of months to learn this eating approach. After that, the rest of the year, it's building healthy eating mindsets in place of dieting mindsets. They're totally different. She also discovered that a lot of the skills and practical strategies for healthy eating are quite different from the skills and strategies for dieting. So I love how she talks about how for the first time in her life, She's caring for all the cells in her body with the way she eats. She's utterly transformed her relationship with food and with her body. It's gorgeous. Now, Lily's another example. Her story is similar. She always stayed slender with the eat less, exercise more approach until menopause, and that stopped working. And she just kept trying the approaches that always worked, that she had a lot of faith in, and for 10 years, trying to eat less and exercise more and eat less and gaining more weight. So she came to me and she started implementing the slender weight eating approach. So she was eating more than she had been eating, a lot more. She liked the abundance. She liked that she was losing weight without feeling hungry. That was a completely new experience. So she says, I had so much of it figured out before, but I got the whole formula in Slender for Good. So it's very clear and sensible. It's based on 4 fundamental guidelines, not dozens and dozens, right? There are very specific quantities of fruits and vegetables and whole grains and proteins and fats that add up predictably to results. So it's super clear when we're on plan and when we're not. It's based in abundance, not deprivation. Getting the whole formula made it possible for Lily to get back to her slender, happy weight and just live there. Lily says it's sustainable because it just keeps working like magic. And her saying that made me realize our bodies are magic, and they get the chance to show us how magic they are when we feed them right. So Lily and Michaelina's stories reveal how this eating approach is transformative for getting results and being able to sustain them. It's completely different from what we've learned about healthy eating growing up in these times. It works with the body, making it happy to reset your weight naturally to slender. When we give our body the nutritious foods it needs in the right quantities, in abundant quantities, it becomes happy and healthy in so many ways. It naturally releases the excess fat it's stored. It's getting nutritious food day after day, meal after meal, and it uses that for fuel for productive activities instead of storing it as excess fat for the future. Does that make sense? It's sustainable because it's super clear. It's sensible and straightforward. It's specific. You can tell whether you're doing it or not. It's super sustainable because it works predictably and reliably, and it just keeps working. It's sustainable because it works with your body instead of pitting you against your body, right? And that leads me to the other big difference with the Slender for Good program. I designed this program for us to get lasting results so we never have to diet again. I don't want us in this dieting and then indulging and then dieting and indulging place. Emotionally, it's very stressful. It's very stressful on the body, and it's very unsustainable. The cheap mass marketed approaches out there will try to give you the fastest weight loss, not sustainable weight loss. Very frustrating to me. Most people stay in the Slender for Good program for 12 months, so they get close guidance and coaching and support over the course of a year, over 365 days. So whatever obstacles come up, we can overcome them quickly. They can be building skills through the whole process and achieving the mindset shifts that make this lifestyle change something they can stick with. So let me share Coleen's story as an example. She didn't even want to lose very much weight at all. But her weight had been up and down for her whole life, for decades. She would alternate between overindulging in non-nutritious stuff and then restricting to compensate. And she was getting concerned about her future health, especially when her mom developed dementia. Now, eating the slender way, Coleen got to a slender weight she hadn't even dreamed of. She says, I feel free, slim, and fantastic. She had depression and anxiety issues that transformed. Now she's able to just jet around the world so happily and so light on her feet with her husband, living her best life. And she did not go on a diet, right? She transformed her approach to eating. She's someone who was very concerned about feeling deprived about certain foods and drinks. She was very concerned about cravings because when she had tried to lose weight in the past, she'd had lots and lots of cravings. So I guided her through this Crave the Good system that I developed, and she was able to change her thoughts and her feelings about eating and drinking, and that makes it sustainable. I'm not just forcing myself to change my behavior, I'm changing how I think and feel about this behavior. So she now thoroughly enjoys eating the abundant, nutritious foods. And she lost her cravings for the highly processed, non-nutritious stuff that used to be so tempting to her. So changing our thoughts and feelings about how we eat and what we like to eat, this is another important part of getting sustainable results. Coleen got to a place of feeling really comfortable and confident about the way she's eating and sustaining these results because she really thoroughly enjoys eating this way. She says, it's just how I eat and I love it. Now, I want to make one final point about how to have a sustainable weight loss, a sustainable weight reset. And that is that sustainable results come with consistent habits, habits that you do day in and day out without making constant exceptions. We live in a time and a culture that encourages us to make constant exceptions. And that is not serving us. That is serving the people who are making a profit selling us non-nutritious stuff. So Elaine's a great example of this. Elaine lost the weight she wanted to lose in a year in Slender for Good. She also decided, I'm going to continue for a second year because I just really want to embody and solidify this way of eating as my happy lifestyle choice that I really just don't even doubt anymore. Something I can do long-term without question. So is this making sense? I want to encourage you to go for sustainable weight loss, very unusual result in these times. And that only comes through truly healthy eating. That's my belief. We're not going to get sustainable weight loss by forcing our body to let go. We're going to have to figure out how to feed our body to make it happy, and then it will let go. So you need the right healthy eating and weight loss approach. It has to work with your body instead of pitting you against your body. It should be clear and simple and make sense. It should be proven effective. It should naturally reset your weight. So you need the right healthy eating and weight loss approach. You need new habits and new thoughts and feelings about eating and drinking, food and drink. You probably need to bust some mindsets that tend to pull you back to status quo ways and build healthy eating mindsets where you used to have these status quo mindsets. We also are building skills. We're building new healthy eating skills. So we are quite resistant to being pulled back to old familiar habits. So we stay out of the stop and start pattern that we've been in that really isn't serving us. So we get to this automatic, natural, effortless sustainability with our eating habits. It's gorgeous. So people tell me all the time, this is easy. This is thoroughly enjoyable. There's no reason I would ever go back. So we can really get to a place where healthy eating and sustainable weight loss are handled. Like they don't have to be a stress anymore. They don't have to be an issue anymore. We never have to diet again. Eating and drinking and weight are just things that work because we know how to eat. That's how I wanted to live. That's how we live. You can spend your life this way in much more interesting and fulfilling activities, right? Hope this makes sense. I hope you have a lot better idea about how what works for sustainable weight loss is completely different, much smarter than the approaches that keep letting us down. Let me know if you'd like to see that longer program where I teach more about why dieting doesn't work and how what does work is completely different. And if you feel like I am ready for change, I want that clarity, I want that specificity, I want to understand exactly how this works, and I want some guidance and support for making that a happy habit, I would be happy to have a conversation with you. You can book a call with me and we'll explore what's been going on for you with eating and drinking and health and weight. And we can see if Slender for Good might be exactly what would change your life. And you might have gone on my website and looked for, is there a way to buy the Slender for Good program on the website? And there isn't. It's an invitation only program. And that helps me keep the program success rate really, really high. So I'd be happy to have a conversation with you. There's no obligation on my part to invite you to join, no obligation on your part to say yes if I do. Bottom line, I want you to understand there is no need to stay stuck in those approaches that don't work and just the stopping and starting situation. When there's something over here that does work predictably and reliably for women over 50. I feel we deserve to live a healthy, happy life free of stress over eating and drinking and weight issues. So keep learning about healthy eating, keep following me, and get in touch if you're ready for real change. All right.